Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sha-Kiya Gadson, and I am the host of the ListNing Project. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing Mr. Brian King. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
Let's start off first with, do you understand or know what the ListNing Project is?
No.
No. Okay.
That's
So
nice.
the listening project is a baby of mine where I am interviewing men and getting their perspective on life and
Okay.
how things can be made better for them, how
Okay.
women in the world in general can get a better understanding of the things that you go through, some of the experiences that you may have had, so that we can better assist you.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Um, how are you feeling?
Yeah, well, okay.
You all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So first, tell us a little about yourself.
Brian King, originally from New York, uh, Brooklyn, Queens, and joined the Air Force after I did a year in college and realized that wasn't where I wanted to be. And then stayed in the Air Force for like 26, retired, POD civilian, retired, and then decided to come here to live in San Antonio. Wife with two kids, boy and a girl, Alex and Brian. Wifey's name is, well, she goes by Tamata. Real name is Pachita. She's from
Okay.
Panama, Panamaniacs, that's what I call them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
with reason. But we're happy here in San Antonio. It did well for our kids, raising them here. And yeah, I'm here. I am a divorcee, previous marriage before I met my wife in Panama, but life is what it is.
Okay. Awesome. I appreciate that. So let's talk about your earlier years. How would you describe them?
So when my family decided, I was born in Brooklyn, was so used to Brooklyn. When my family decided to move to Queens, I got upset because all my friends were in Brooklyn. And it's like, why did we move? Why did we uproot?
Mhm.
And I didn't understand it. It just hurt my heart. You adapt, adjust, overcome. Got to Queens, and things were okay. I will say, I don't know if it's because of situations that occurred, but my friends and I, we were doing some things to just entertain ourselves, but we were more in the street than we were in the house. Uh, my parents told me, and it is an African proverb, it takes a wise man to learn from another man's mistakes. I have my brothers and sisters that are older than me. I saw them go through addiction to drugs, and I knew that was off limits, not where I was going. But anyway, hanging out with friends, like I said, we were more outdoorsy guys. And I don't mean in the woods, football, handball. So we stayed in that sports realm. But I remember one night funny you asked that question because this one night helped me to realize how naive I was to prejudice. So my parents had me in a private school or Lutheran school up to high school. And I was so used to getting along with people that black, white, Chinese, whatever you were, we were just humans, right? One night, my friends and I, this was high school, my friends and I would go to a party and on the other side of town, didn't realize that we come back, we're getting on the bus, waiting for a bus. And we were in an all white neighborhood or predominantly white neighborhood. We're waiting for the bus. It's late at night. We just trying to get on the bus and go home. All of a sudden, these guys pull up, white guys pull up in their car, start talking smack. We were like, what? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? They were just doing it to stir the pot in order to get us into a fight. Right there, I became so angry. I didn't realize how angry prejudice can make you until that moment because I was naive to it for years. I was probably like 17. Yeah. So that next week I went home. This thing is still running in my head. And I mean, I was agitated to the 12th hour. I was ready to find somebody. I was trying to ask my friends, do you know anybody that does guns, that runs guns? Because
Wow.
I want to go back to that neighborhood and I want to spread it. And that's before they were talking about drive-bys. But I was so angry. I was so hurt. I was like, I'm going to give it back to you.
So when you talk about that feeling, what would you say was the main reason why you were so hurt? I understand that there was a racial aspect to it, but deep down, like what was it that made you internalize it and make it so harsh for you?
I don't know if it's because the guys came up and we were just standing there innocently waiting to catch the bus. And there was a pizza stand behind us or a store, and some of the guys went in the restaurant and get a slice, and we just still waiting for the bus. And these guys just came out of nowhere, and of course they had to spit the N word and
Mm-hmm.
this ain't your side of town. Don't come over. Shut up, man. You don't own the whole town. All of that and their attitude towards us. I mean, one of my friends fell as we were trying to, help him because they started swinging at him. He fell down. I had to go help him up and, kind of back those guys off, and just seeing the way they came at us as if we had started something. And it's like, we're waiting on a bus and you're just going to come out of the blue. I was done. I was like, that neighborhood needs to go.
The whole neighborhood
Yeah,
needs to go.
that neighborhood needs to go because your mentality is wrong. It just didn't make sense, especially after growing up and seeing that we can get along in other situations. What's the difference right here? There is no difference. Just leave me alone. We just getting pizza, waiting to go home.
So how does that carry forward? Like, how did that, were you able to let that go at some point, or does that still stay with you? And how has that like impacted some of the situations that you've been in moving?
Let it go, I'm going to say no, but I don't let it cloud my judgment of people in front of me. But I'm better able to read people's actions all across the board because it ain't just white people prejudice against black. There's a number of people, number of ethnicities, because there's only one race, the human race.
Right.
But there are a number of ethnicities that are prejudiced towards black and brown skin. So I just read what I see in front of me. And if your actions, that's more so what I look at, your actions tell me what you're really thinking. So that has helped me to decipher some people and understand where they're coming from. Say, okay, you that guy. And either I stay, there you go, and I stand clear.
So how did you get in the military, and how does this thinking or mindset, how did that impact your military career?
Funny thing is, in the military, we seemed so more closely knit in doing things together that didn't see it as openly as as at home, as you can outside of the military. But what happened is I did start noticing undercurrents of what we call the good old boy system. And what it is, they know that John Smith is going up against Brian King on his board. Well, not Brian. We need John Smith. John needs a chance. Brian's smart. He can test it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Why I gotta test out? I'm better than this dude. But you gave it to him? You gave the award to him? Okay. Got it. I'll just work harder as we normally have to do. Work a little harder than John Q. Public than anybody else. But yeah, I just persevered and said, so it is. What is it? So it is said, so shall it be written. I got it. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Yes, sir.
Let me make sure that I'll capture this. This is great. This is absolutely what I needed it to be. Yes. So you said that you are married. How do you choose your spouse? First off, did you meet your spouse prior to the military or after?
While I was in my current wife, I was married prior to, but I met her at my first duty station. I thought we were okay, and apparently we weren't. But life goes on. You do what you got to do. You keep moving. So my current wife, I met her when I was stationed in Panama, and
Nice.
and I became a little more selective on what I looked at in a woman, and I mean a woman, not black, white, Chinese, Puerto Rican, blah, 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 whatever. But I would have to say I look at a mental. If our mental is not there, if I can't connect, I don't want a less than intelligent woman around me.
Understand.
And it's not so much the independence. One of my friends gave a good term. He said, because I'm raising my daughter, he was like, teach her to be codependent, independent, but interdependent. Learn to work with the husband, not so much be so independent that he thinks, well, you don't even need me. What the heck am I here for? But more so interdependent, depend on each other. You can stand on your own, yes, but in essence, I just make you happier. I don't want to be this center of the whole plan. I want you to have you can do it without me, with or without me.
All right. I like that. You said codependent at first, and I was like, "Ooh, what kind of friend says that?" But then you corrected. I was like, "Okay, interdependent is definitely healthy."
Mhm.
So, do you feel like your wife provides that interdependence for you, and what does that look like?
I'm going to say yes, she does. Like right now, she's working, and right now I'm at home going to school. So funny thing about college is I went back to college just so I could finish the degree that I started when I just after high school. But anyway, I'm going to say yes, she is interdependent because I know she can do if I ain't there.
Mm.
If I'm not there, I know she can get it done. Whether it be she hire somebody, or whether she do it herself, she can get it done. And I'm a nicety.
And how do you feel about that? Because a lot of men do not feel like they want to be a nicety. They want to be the head, and
She allows me to be the head, but she also wants to be able to give her input. And I have to not succumb to it, but I have to consider it as well. But she allows me to make final decisions. But yeah, I hear you. But listen to this.
Gotcha.
And marinate on this before you just press eject. Don't just press eject because you thought of it in absence of me,
Right.
in absence of her. And that's what it is. I mean, the one thing about interdependence is I don't understand how some guys, they say they're married, they love their wife, yada, 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 but they have separate bank accounts. It's like, why do you have a separate bank account if you planning to stay there? That sounds like a eject move. That sounds like I'm not going to stay here long. I'm getting ready to run, but I need to prep this money here for me in case I have to run. I'm like, bro, ain't y'all working on the same bills, the same house note, same everything?
So, okay, so I hear that. So, what happens when, because I've heard a lot of different variations of that, and from what I heard consistently is there should be four bank accounts.
Okay.
Um, one for her own personal entertainment, one for you for your own personal entertainment, bills, and then saving for
Okay.
longevity purposes. Do you not subscribe to that, or do you feel like everything should just be in one because we are one cohesive unit?
I might say two. The ones that you know, well, yeah, there's an entertainment fund, there's the security or safety fund, like if something goes wrong with the car or you need some work done. And then the other one is savings. We have our own like 401ks, because she's working where she works and they're building a nest egg for her. I already got mine. And, but never shall we sit there and say, no, this is mine. You can't touch that. Like, what? We are one. Don't tell me I can't touch that. If I ask you, hey, give me X, you either say yeah, nay, and different, but we're in it together. I just see it says in it together from head to toe.
So, have you ever felt, considering that you've already been married once and now you're currently married, have you ever felt a loss of individuality? Like, I'm a married person, I'm a married man, but where do I separate the person that I am in this life journey in this person that I am in my marriage? Or do you feel like they have to be in sync in order for it to work?
Good question. Vicious combination. I have to be able to do me, but we also have to be in sync where she accepts me to be me, just like I accept her to be hers. For instance, like she'll have, I don't know if this is what you're talking about, like she'll go on a girls' trip. I know guys that would faint, if not try to hurt their wife for going, even thinking to go on a girls'. I'm like, see you when you get back.
Right.
Just the same. She's like, you need some friends. You need to go. She's sitting tired to me right now. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm waiting on a couple of guys. We're eventually gonna. She's like, yeah, okay. I'm gonna schedule one for you. You got it. Yeah, even if just for a minute. But yeah, I encourage her. Hey, if you got the girls to roll with, go do it. I'll be here. I ain't going nowhere.
I think that's awesome. I think a lot of men don't follow suit with that because they feel like their situation is not stable enough for her to go out and like maybe on a whim, like she's gonna find this magical person that is just going to sweep her off her feet. I don't know if men truly understand that. When women are with you, everybody else becomes oblivious.
Yes.
Like, there's no amount of lack of self control that's going to happen because you decide to shirt or you decide to go to a cafe. And if that's the case, and I feel like it's the same thing for women. Like when men go on men's trips, like it's not gonna be that. Like there is some type of vulnerability there. It was there before they went on the trip.
Amen. Yeah.
You know.
Because in the same way, I was thinking, when a guy feels that way, it makes me question, what are you doing to live in the fear of her going to hang out with her girls? What is your fear? Yeah.
Right.
Your fear is something that you're doing.
Either that, or you just fear that she's gonna have an aha moment and realize what she's dealing with. It's like I can do better.
So much better. Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. So tell me, being a dad, being a husband, being your own person on your own journey, what has been your biggest fear?
Biggest fear, probably making sure I'm a good dad and a good husband at the same time. Because sometimes we get so involved in being one that we forget to take care of the other. You know, we, like a lot of times they say, you sit there and you putting all your energy into your kids and you forgot your spouse. It's like you can't forget your spouse. You can't forget, whether it be your wife, your husband, whatever it is, you cannot forget them too. You have to show them just as much love as you're showing those kids. Making sure I had that balance is probably one of my biggest fears. Am I doing it? Am I managing? Am I keeping it, 50-50 or 100-100?
100. Okay, I like that. I like that. So, how do you deal with the differences in opinion or personal aspects? Because you and your wife are two different people and you're raising children. How do you deal with the differences and how that is approached?
Holy smoke, Batman. Yeah, you're not lying on that. You have two different venues for sure. So I was raised where, and trust me, my dad even told me. So when I decided to close out on college under their dime, because I told him, hey, you know what? I don't think I'm taking the best advantage of your money. I don't think I'm as productive as I should be with your money, sending me to college. So let me go do what I was going to do. I think my dad let me get home. I think he let me waited for breakfast. After I got my stuff back in the house, that next morning while we had breakfast, he's like, hey boy, you got 6 months to figure this thing out. But whatever it is, it ain't gonna be at this address. In other words, you're of age and you're gonna figure your way outside of this house. Yes. It was not gonna be at that address, hammering and part-time jobbing and eating all that food. No, he said you got 6 months to figure it out. On the other hand, my wife, I think it's Latin and probably some other cultural thing where they believe in taking care of their kids for a longer period of time if they need it. And I tell you, I chomp at the bit, as they say. I'm like, I'm ready for these kids.
Thinking about it?
Well, some one of them got the degree. When they're going to get their job, like in Colorado or something. Yeah, well, okay, Austin.
Okay.
Somewhere else other than this address. I learned that, like I said, just chomp at the bit, hold my peace, and trying to keep myself calm with some situations that I was like, you're comfortable with your kids being in your house at a certain age. I'm at the point where,
it's time. Okay, I can understand.
Yeah, you got to go home, but you got to get up out of here.
You got to make home someplace else. Okay, so I understand that because I have a child that is of age where in Black culture, it was like, hey, it's time for you to go. And I'm like, no, I would rather that you be ready so that you don't have to rebound and come back as opposed to you getting out there and not necessarily being ready. Having been in the military and retired, but I know that when I went in at 18, it might be 19. The things that the military exposes you to at such an early age, you grow up leaps and bounds in like 6 months, and you really don't get that time and that space to make mistakes. And I think it's important. I think we grow up too old, too fast, rushing to marriage and kids and everything else. So I understand and I respect the mistake age. But I really understand that there are a lot of men that are like, nah, these kids need to get out of here. And I wonder sometimes, like, because I know that I would feel a little bit envious that nobody gave me the space for that safety net. Yeah, a little bit more safety. How do you feel about it?
I get exactly what you're saying. Like, I'm trying to rethink some of those things. Like, yes, I was raised where, because even my brothers and sisters, when they were like 18, 19, because they weren't doing anything. Well, my brothers, they had joined the army because Vietnam was in place. They're like 15 years between me and my youngest sibling. But so they were in the army and they were doing their thing. But my sisters, I think they almost married out. It was like, and they were probably like 20, get married, be gone.
20 is so young.
Trust me, they weren't ready. They were not ready. But yes, there was a point where we're rushing them out of the house. But I think where what I have to learn is how to teach them some things in this growing up age. Now you're really teach them some life lessons and say, okay, this is how you, like you said, allow them to make mistakes, but you have to guide them through the mistake.
Absolutely.
And if they're living in Colorado, like I just said,
I don't know what Colorado is. I don't know what this.
Oh, it was just far away. But you ain't gonna just drive in tonight.
Right, you gotta have a decision about that. Yeah,
you gonna call whether it be fly or whether it be drive. You gonna thank you for it. It's just I need to learn to take this time that they are with us to teach them some things. What they call lessons learned. I learned this in my life. You don't want to go here.
Right.
For instance, in one of my classes, they made us watch this video about finances, and I was like, man, that's pretty interesting. No one ever told me that. No one ever taught me that. I made my kids sit down and watch it because it was just on YouTube. And I was like, okay, today is family hour. Y'all sit down, listen, absorb. You got questions, you say, and I'll pause. I want you to hear this because this man is spitting all kinds of wisdom. And it was, wow. I just said, wow, when I was watching. I was like, wow, yeah, you got some good ideas, man. I wish I'd have known this when I was 20 something. And that's why I sat down and made them watch it. You know, it's like thou shalt. Yeah, this is a thou shalt.
Thou shalt. You don't have any options. This is one of those.
Yeah, okay. You must watch this.
I like that.
I'm hoping that some of it sunk in, while they're developing. But yes, there needs to be a time where we teach them how to be on their own effectively, not just get out.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because then we're still worrying about them later on. And it's like, okay, so you worried about me, but you put me out.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? Like, you put me out. Yeah. Did you care or not care?
Mm-hmm. And there's so many bad things that can happen. There's so many misdirections that can occur when you don't know any better. So, yeah.
Do you parent your children differently?
Probably, yeah. I'm a little more strict on my son. I expect him to be a little more sharper like me than I do his sister. But his sister is sharp though. Man, you talk about quick-witted. I'm telling boy, she be coming back at me. I'm like, okay, that's my blood.
Right.
I can't stand you. Okay, well, I can't say much to you, but it's like I'm teaching him some maintenance skills, some around the house things to do, how to manage a hammer, screwdriver, drill. But I find that I don't call my daughter and say, hey, come help me do this.
Okay.
And I should teach her that. I should teach her if you get a flat, this is how you get the tire out. If you have, what do you call it? How to take care of your car. Because guess what? You got to have your car to get you from point A to point B. Especially out here. Because
no.
So, but I need to include her in more of the things that handyman things that I do with my son. But yes, I do treat them different. I think I hold him to a higher standard in terms of catching on quicker than I do her. And
do you feel like you are a nurturer by nature, or is that something that you have to work on?
I think I'm nurtured by nature, but at the same time, depends on my mood, I guess you could say. If I'm not in the mood,
It's like, no.
yeah,
Fly away.
let's call time out and you come back in a little while.
Okay. Well, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. As long as you are letting people know that there's a space that needs to be had. Okay. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I think when people try to force past what they're really feeling, then things go wrong. Because you're not in the space to be trying to nurture or be caring, and it's like, I don't have it. But if you say that and people understand, not ever, but not right now, I think that they can adjust to that. It's when you're not able to speak on it and it's just like, well, what's wrong? Nothing. And it's like, okay, well, I'd like to embrace you. Now get away from me. Or you're pushing them away, or you're mean, or you're short, then they don't know what to do with that. So, okay, that's an honest one. And in your parenting, was your son allowed to be softer, or was he required to be boyish, mannish, like play with boy toys? And how did you feel about that?
It was whatever he wanted to play with. I mean, we bought him the boy toys, but he didn't really gravitate to his sister's toys anyway. So yeah, we didn't hard press him for one thing or another, but I guess he watched me as he was growing up, and he probably saw things he didn't want to repeat and saw things that he wanted to repeat. But yeah, we did not hard press him. You're a man, you got to do it this way. Yeah.
That's interesting. What do you feel about that? When people say those are girls' toys, you as a boy should never touch them, or the harshness that comes with a boy maybe playing with a toy that they don't really assign a sex to or a gender to.
I don't have a problem with kids playing with whatever toy they want to. I am gonna talk to the child if they're my responsibility, if they're in my care. I'm gonna talk to them like, hey, why are you playing with it? Oh, okay, you like it. Okay, cool. Yeah. Gotcha. But I'm not gonna say, hey man, your boy, you can't play with it. You can't play with it. Negative, Ghost Rider. You can't say he can't. You just say, oh, okay. Understand. There's something about that doll. Maybe it reminds him of his mother.
Such a healthy response.
Maybe it reminds him of his mother and he wants to care for it. Okay. Go ahead, do your thing.
I think that's probably the healthiest response I've had so far. Because I really feel like society tells men, young boys, young men that there's a line that they shouldn't cross. But then we still expect them to be good fathers, good uncles, good cousins, good friends. And it's like they don't have that connection. And we don't allow them to have that connection. And we don't assume that has to be grown and fostered. Like it is with little girls. Like, I don't know, yeah, grow and we care for it. We buy it clothes. We understand that it needs to eat and sleep and and even if it's not a real thing, we grow attachments to it. But we never give our young men that same opportunity. It's even with dogs, it's like take the dog out, walk it, but it's really grow an attachment to this thing and allow it to become a part of you and be a softer part of you where you have to. So I think that was a really healthy response, and I appreciate that. That was actually pretty dope. I'm pondering for a second. When you think about being a man in this society and having what I think are healthy views, I'm sure that there are parts of you that you want to work on, but having an overall healthy view, how does that work when you interact with other men that do not?
I tend to keep my distance and I don't say much, what they say, silence is sometimes louder than words. A lot of times they'll say things. I'm like, give them the look, like, really? Or I'll just go find another conversation somewhere else. But when opportunity allows, if it does, I might talk to him on the side. I'm not going to embarrass him in front of a bunch of guys, in front of a bunch of friends, whatever. But if there's ever an opportunity to talk with him, I might say, yo, man, why do you think like that? Ask him, what made you say that? Why do you feel that way? That doesn't make sense to me. And then I'll give my side of the story, how I look at it. It made me really give another perspective on the same situation. Like, all right, I thought that. There you go.
Have you ever had close friends or people that you thought you admired or looked up to that you later found had conflicting views that were like, wow, I didn't know that was in the underlying of who you were?
I'll say we're acquaintances rather than friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they were acquaintances, or maybe they are acquaintances now.
Okay.
Yes, but I'm going to say, because those that I consider my friend, that I pretty much the ones I grew up with, I get them. Some of the people I've met along the way, I'm close to them, but I don't know how much friend we are because of some of their actions, whether it be actions towards me or actions in general. Like, hey, can't subscribe to that. Okay, I see how you do. We're good. I know where I stand. Yeah, I know where I stand. We're good.
So your friends that you say, I know them, do you give them a pass on things that, like, let's just say you grew up with them and environmentally you understand why they may do the things that they do, but even though you might not agree with it? Or do you say, even though I have a strong connection with you, your thinking is not where I'm trying to be or the people that I'm trying to surround myself with?
I haven't encountered that yet. As a matter of fact, I was planning when I graduate next semester, at the end of this semester, to go hang out with some of my friends that I grew up with in Queens. And I'm going to sit and talk with them, and that'll probably be interesting. What comes out of that? I haven't seen them since I left. I mean, we've talked, but I haven't seen them since we left. And we don't talk every week. We don't talk every day. We talk intermittently, but we have been talking about, okay, when you finish that, come out here and hang out with us.
Wow. Okay, that should be very interesting.
Yeah, that will be. It'll be good to see them. Matter of fact, I went to see a couple of friends that I grew up with in Brooklyn. We went to South Carolina. That was interesting to see the development of each, and these guys were a little older than me. They're probably like 3 to 5 years older than me. So, they had their little crowd where I was still the little kid they thumped in the head, get out of here. But when they saw me, I was like, shoot, yeah, right. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I remember this kid. Just after a while, we sat down and we started talking. Yeah, I could see we were in the same wavelength,
Really?
and that was good, despite the different paths we took. We were all same wavelength. I was like,
Nice.
that's pretty cool. I mean, there might have been one questionable, but
For the most part.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and it was a good time. I tell you, that almost recharged my battery, as they say. Just seeing them and knowing that they're doing well, and just period, seeing them again.
Nice.
That was nice.
So as men grow and you go on your own life's journey and you separate from people, how does that impact you? Like losing, or I won't say losing because sometimes you don't lose them, but like becoming distant from those branches, how does that impact you?
Sometimes it hurts, depending on who the person is. For instance, I got a cousin that lives here. I think she's up the street from me, sort of, kind of, not far, within a 20-minute drive. Ever since we got here, maybe saw her once or twice, and we've been here since 2009. It hurts my heart to know that she doesn't, and I've sent her texts, sent her emails, and no response. And that makes me think, what did I do?
Right.
To make you stop talking? Because I never asked you for money. I don't like somebody, somebody that keep asking you for money, like, you know what? Yeah. But I never asked her for anything other than, hey, come hang out with us. Hey, come spend time with the fam. And that hurt. And then, yeah, it hurts. I'll say it hurts, depending on your connection with the person. Yeah, because I got some friends that they just seem like they changed channels on me. I'm like,
They faded away.
yeah, what's up, man? What? You know what? We're good. I'm not gonna force me on you. If you don't want me there, we straight. I got other things I could be doing.
That's respected. Wellness. What do you think change and evolution and growth? How do you feel like wellness should be a part of that for us?
It's important. I'm gonna say that because I actually see a psychiatrist, see a psychologist because I've gone through some things that are difficult to what's the term to process, and I needed that outside mind to help me process because without it, yeah, I'd probably implode. You know, holding it in, trying to figure out why am I agitated all the time, and yeah. But your mental health is very important. You go see a psychologist. If you find somebody's telling you that something's you off a step, take the time, go see a psychologist.
Mm-hmm.
And if they might even recommend you see a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Or you can start at psychiatrist. Whatever it is, take care of your mental because it's important for you and your sake. I mean, life throws enough things at us that it sometimes, yes, it's a kick in the gut, and you have to be able to drive on. You have to be able to get back up, and sometimes you need help to get up. So reach for that hand, and even if you have to pay for it, get up. Your physical, definitely take care of that because you don't want to be sitting around as a couch potato. And here it is. It hurts my heart when I hear about guys dying at age 50, at age 45, at age 30, and it's health related. I'm like, holy smoke, Batman, what was this guy or doll doing that they died at such a young age? To me, a young age. It's like, say that when they're 78 or 70 plus,
And they live,
but not 50, not 40, nothing, not 30, nothing. And yeah, and it's across the board. It ain't just a black thing. It's black, white, Chinese. Yeah, there's a lot of people just dying behind, ignoring their health.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's important to do take care of yourself, not only for yourself, but for your family. Take care of yourself.
How does mortality impact men? That you would think that women are.
I don't think we second guess it or we are afraid of it. If it comes, it comes. That's my mentality. If it comes, it comes. But I'm not going to look for them.
Okay.
But if it comes, it's just one of the things that happen. But whereas a lady might look at her husband or her man and say, "You need to do better with that. You need to. Why are you doing that?" So what I have is micro seizures. Never had them in my life. All of a sudden, they just start happening. And all it is like 30 seconds. I just pause. It's like I go on this pause, right? And my wife saw it one day. She's like, "What is that?" I was like, "Back up. I got it. Only 30 seconds." And I couldn't respond in those 30 seconds, but after the thing passes, yeah, she made me go to the ER. And so now I'm taking pills to counter it. But that's a man disease. I got this. I can press through this thing. This is going to go away. Never seen it before in my life, but it's going to go away.
You just know that it's going to go away.
It's got to go away. But it wasn't a seizure that caused me to fold it. They sometimes think of seizures and get something to hold his tongue, his or her tongue, don't let him swallow it, blah, 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 blah. It wasn't that severe. It's just like you and I could be talking and I would pause for a minute.
It's like your brain has to reset.
Yeah. And then I come back to it. I could come back to it. I might have to ask you to repeat the question, but I would come back to it. But now I've been taking some meds that are not that invasive. Mm-hmm. And yeah, all gone. Never had them in three years now.
Nice.
So yeah.
And you would have just continued to just go on with life as if
it was a nice flowers.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Yes.
No diversions here. Like, yeah, no, but I don't understand that because it's like most men, if they are on top of their game, they have people that they take care of, very in tune to what their people need, whether it be financial or just being a provider protector, why wouldn't you give yourself that space to figure out what that is if you know that it's not real?
Felt it didn't stop me from doing what I was doing, what I needed to do. So I just, okay, it'll go away. My brain made me think it'll go away, but it wasn't gonna go away on its own.
Is that your brain or is that pride and ego?
Can I plead the fifth?
No.
No. Okay. It's probably pride and ego. Yeah. I'd have to say that was it. Because a lot of times I remember growing up and there were a lot of times I was saying, nothing's going to take me out because I got this. Yeah. But that was my New Yorkism.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this walking through a park that I probably should not have been walking through in the middle of the night. And I was going back home and I used to walk through the park.
Like you were
It's just
invisible.
on the way home. Yes. I was like, yeah, though I walk through, and I seriously said this.
Yeah.
I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. For I am the biggest, baddest, meanest mother in the valley.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's what I would say as I walk through. And nobody bothered me, but and people have died in the same park. I've read stories the next morning where people died in the same park.
So you were just covered, but you felt like this is me.
Yeah.
I'm doing okay.
But I've become humble behind that, beyond that. So, but yeah, I don't think that anymore. But yeah, I've learned. Yeah, you better stand down or you get stood down.
Just stood right.
You're gonna get knocked down. So.
Okay. So my last question for you. I really enjoyed this, and thank you very much for coming and sharing your time with me.
Thank you, madam.
How can we, as women and society, help men in this journey that you're going on, like called life? How do we help you to be seen, be understood? How do we support you better?
I would say if you can get us to open up, because that's another disease we have, opening up to people. Because a lot of times, like I said, with the seizures, I didn't say anything. And trust me, they were happening not for a week. They were happening for about 6 months. And I just did not say anything. So, yes, observe us. If you see something left the center with us, address it. But you have to know the person enough to address it. Address those things that seem left the center with us. You find that we're showing the people, in our attitude and time allows, pull us to the right. What's up? What's going on? And let me tell you what I see. You're doing boom. Trust me, we will get it after you say that. Trust me, we're gonna be defensive. No, I wasn't doing that. Yeah, but we're gonna hear you. And a smart man will listen to that advice and say, yeah, I'm gonna have to check myself. I'm gonna have to pay attention to myself on the next incident that occurs, on the next interaction I have with somebody, to make sure I don't repeat these things. If we want to listen to us, sometimes we're saying some things that we just need to let go of, and yeah, I'll say, listen to us, give us a chance to air out whatever, without countering our question. Let us go ahead and spit it out on the table and then give us feedback. Advice. Every time we say the sentence, come back. Say the sentence, go. Look, you interrupted me. Let me talk. Because sometimes we become defensive then, because we're not having a chance to air it all the way out. Love us in spite of ourselves, because sometimes ourselves are, a lot to deal with. When it's time to go, because some guys, I hate to say, but sometimes it's time to go. I didn't say that out loud.
No, okay, no, that's honest. Like knowing it's time to go. Like I don't think we know what that means.
Yeah, sometimes you have to read us and understand it. You know what? This brother right here, this gentleman right here, I don't think he really wants to be here. Yeah, I guess that's where the fourth bank account comes in.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Yeah.
Just a case bang. Yeah. But support us in our ideas. Don't support us to the point where you just bow down and allow us to do whatever we said we're going to do. But make us think it out smart. You know what I mean? Hear the idea and then throw in, okay, I hear you. Have you considered what happens if you do A, B, and C? You realize D, E, F, and G are coming right behind it? Oh, shoot, I didn't think about that. Because that's a lot of times why we're saying things, because we kind of need some feedback. We want to hear somebody else say yay, nay, and different. Yeah, that's a great idea. Like they say, as a manager, that's a great idea. I just think we should, but don't say but.
Because but just
Yeah,
negates it. I'm
yeah,
saying, what
but.
should we say?
No, that's what I'm saying. Just say, that's a great idea. Have you thought about what would happen
Gotcha.
if, because I tell you, I hate to admit it, but women are some smart. I think they're smarter than us. But yeah, y'all are there for a reason. God created you for a reason, and He was smart on it. He or she was smart on it. Because yeah, there are sometimes we do dumb things. We men do dumb things. Have we talked to you? We've probably not done it. You're like, no shoot, because a lot of times we're so in here, we can't see the mic, we can't see the other bottle of water. We just see drinking water. Just grab this. But we're too in the zone that we can't see what's going on around us. But you're saying back here, like, I wouldn't go that way. I'm telling you now, you see that? Yeah, but did you see this? Did you see that? Did you see this? And a lot of times we don't see those things because we're zeroed in on the one object, the one item.
Understood. And from what I'm hearing, words do actually matter.
Yes, they do.
Well, I want to thank you for this. This was great. Hopefully, it was because I know you said you didn't know what you were expecting. Hopefully, it was a pleasant experience.
Yes, it was.
And hopefully, we can get more men to feel comfortable to, if not come on the couch, just have open dialogue and just be honest about what it is they experience in life and how it changes how they see the world and how it affects how they move forward. I really appreciate you. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it actually helped me to think about some things that I do myself. So trust me, I will be checking myself next year at a minimum. Yeah.
All right. Well, we've all
Days
learned
forward,
something.
yeah.
And that's the point of it.